We are halfway through the Acolyte. Well, actually we're more than halfway through, but episodes 5 and 4 were two halves of one episode anyway, with 4 barely containing enough content to even go in depth about it. It is episode 5, where we should be starting to see the bigger picture, considering it is the episode where May's evil teacher is finally unmasked. So here's a really quick recap about everything leading up to this big reveal. The Acolyte is a show about twin sisters Osha and May. Osha is good, May is bad. Both grew up in a coven of Force witches, and they were basically conceived through the Force, like, Anakin in episode 1, or like Jesus Christ back in the day. You decide. So eventually 4 Jedi arrive at the coven to see whether the kids have a high enough midichlorian count and should be recruited into the Jedi Order. Osha looks like a good fit, but May doesn't want her to leave. She loves her sister too much to lose her, so it's only natural for May to then state how she's gonna kill Osha and burn the whole place down. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the coven, something goes wrong between witches and Jedi. The end result, the witches lay slain in their sacred halls and Osha is taken in by the Jedi, while May disappears. Years later, May reappears, starting to kill off the 4 Jedi trouble starters from back then. At this point in the story, 3 out of 4 are already down, even though the third one, Wookiee Jedi Kalnaka, was killed before May even got there, with her ally, the scoundrel Kimir. Now, Osha's ex-Jedi Master Soul is the only one out of these 4 left standing. And we are about to find out who killed Kalnaka, who sent May on her murder mission to begin with, and maybe even what transpired between witches and Jedi all these years ago. This is The Acolyte, episode 5, and if you thought the show couldn't get any more retarded than it already was, buckle up. Well then, May's evil master, whom the internet has lovingly named Smilo Ren, has come to kill Kalnaka and face the Jedi who are hunting for May. And right off the bat, we are treated to absolute Dadaist nonsense. We enter the episode together with Osha, who was knocked out at the end of episode 4. When she awakens, all hell has broken loose, with Smilo Ren fighting all the red shirts the Jedi brought along. And wouldn't you have guessed it, they're dead, just like that, so we can focus on our named characters fighting off the Smiley Menace. Sol wants to protect Osha from Smilo's wrath, so while he's fending off Smilo's attacks, he's sending her back to the ship and Jedi Yort along to protect her from a forest full of monster moths. But why would Sol send Yort away just to get Osha back to the ship, while he keeps fighting Smilo Ren? Apparently, Smilo is a great fighter, killing off one redshirt Jedi after another, so you would think Sol needs all the trained help he can get. Why would protecting a civilian from jungle critters on a hike back to the ship be more of a priority than catching the evil mastermind behind the Jedi murders, while he's murdering more Jedi right in front of your eyes this very second? What exactly is Smilo Ren's goal for staying and fighting the Jedi rather than just leaving? Is his goal to simply kill everyone? Well, he certainly doesn't. He does begin to kill a few of them, but then he keeps disappearing from fights, leaving other Jedi standing and stumbling around, only to chase after May for a bit, until he decides it's more fun to kill more Jedi after all. Okay? Back in the forest, Osha has a sudden revelation on her way to the ship when she hears a voice whispering her name. It is then that she realizes, oh my god, Smilo Ren is gonna kill everyone! I mean, as if that possibility wasn't made clear enough by Sol sending you away to begin with. So Osha turns back after walking halfway to the ship. It's absolutely incredible how long it takes in these characters' brains for something to register. Like last episode, when May on her way to Kalnaka's place suddenly realized she'd rather turn herself into the Jedi than kill Kalnaka. So we had May doing a 180 while walking into the forest, now we have Osha doing a 180 while walking out of the forest. I'm quite sure showrunner extraordinaire Leslie Headland thought of this as characters wrestling with themselves and eventually after some time being ready to make hard decisions. But this is never communicated to the audience. The characters just stop and turn around. But before Osha can get back to Sol, there's a small problem of a whole forest full of super light sensitive moths. How will they make it back through there? Well, probably the same way they came. It's not that they've been swarmed by moths so far. Be that as it may, Osha tells her guardian Jedi Yort to turn off his lightsaber because it might attract the moths. which he doesn't do for another 15 seconds like the moron he is. But then she decides it's just dandy to shine her own flashlight straight up at the goddamn canopy where all the moths are. Why does she do that? Because she heard a creepy sound from above, indicating that the moths are right there. Jesus effing Christ, do you want to get attacked by them? But conveniently enough, nothing happens when Osha does a light show. However, the moths will come back in style later during the episode. So Osha and Jord are back at the scene of the crime, where Jord gets his neck snapped by Smilo Ren. Oof. And little Jackie is next. And while shit is getting real in Acolyte Land, all Soul does is stand there and watch. I kid you not, Smilo Ren is busy with Jord for about 8 seconds. And all that time Soul just waits off screen to re-enter the fight. I mean, we have already seen him force grab people mid-air. Why doesn't he do that here in order to help Jord survive? Only Headland knows, I guess. And now, ladies and gents, it is time for the ultimate brain melt. A scene so utterly retarded, it's stunning even in the context of Disney's Star Wars. Soul goes berserk and overpowers Smilo, who loses his lightsaber in the process. And just as Soul is about to slash Smilo to pieces, as he should, Osha intervenes to stop Soul. And I just can't anymore. Are you fucking kidding me? Why the hell would she do that? So, the reason for Osha's intervention apparently is because the Jedi Code says don't kill unarmed people. And despite not being a Jedi anymore for many years, it appears that code is more important to Osha than stopping the evil mass murderer in front of her, because he lost his lightsaber during the fight and is now unarmed. Or so the show would want to make us believe. Of course, Smilo is never unarmed since he wields darkside force powers. Just a minute ago, he killed Jord with his bare hands. But for some reason, Osha thinks he's defeated without his lightsaber, and Soul actually stops. Well, it appears the easiest way to defeat a Jedi is simply to throw away your weapon. We're truly in bizarro world at this point. While it is apparently not okay to attack a quote-unquote unarmed evil man, it appears it's perfectly fine though to feed him to the moths. Which Osha does straight away. Remember how the moths weren't attracted by Jord's lightsaber and her flashlight? Well, once Osha puts her little flashlight droid on Smilo's back, Smilo is instantly swarmed by moths and taken away by them. Probably to kill him, to eat him, to lay some eggs in him, we don't know. In any case, while Smilo is busy with the moths, Osha and May cross paths. Oh wow. May says to Osha, "The Jedi brainwashed you and turned you against me." Wait, what? No! You said to your sister, quote, "I'm gonna kill you," unquote, back when you were kids, and you didn't want her to leave. That was basically the last thing young Osha heard you say. Oh well. My brain is starting to melt trying to figure this out, so I'm gonna stop at this point. The episode is almost over anyway. Final observation, I love how Smilo is taken by the moths during the night and only comes down from the canopy during dawn, meaning he slashed away at these things for several hours. And speaking of Smilo, I completely forgot to mention, when Smilo is unmasked, we also learn that he's actually, drumroll, May's scoundrel companion Kimir. I mean, sure. Not that this reveal means anything to anyone, since we have no idea who Kimir really is. I actually thought there was gonna be one of the two witch moms from Osha and May's childhood under the mask. At least that would have meant something to the characters in terms of a shock reveal. In the end, it's still possible that Kimir is folded into this backstory somehow. But, we'll see about that another day. In any case, we keep falling ever deeper into this supermassive black hole of cringe, and there's no telling what fresh nonsense the final 3 episodes will summon up. Disney's Star Wars, right? They can't keep getting away with this, can they?